This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. Namaskar, the news snippets. The Prime Minister has hailed the passage of the Farmers' Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill, the Farmers' Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill, and the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill by both the Houses of Parliament. Mr. Modi said it is a historic moment. Farmers would now be completely free to sell their produce at the most remunerative prices. Senior commanders of India and China are meeting today for working out mechanisms to carry forward the agreement between Indian and Chinese foreign ministers. India has emphasized that complete disengagement would be an essential prerequisite for de-escalation. 8 members of the Rajya Sabha have been suspended for creating ruckus in the House. Chairman of Rajya Sabha said that the 8 members' behavior was unacceptable and tarnished the image of the House. The iconic Taj Mahal has reopened for public after 6 months. Only 5,000 visitors will be allowed per day. Visitors would have to wear masks and maintain social distancing. The historic Agra Fort has also reopened. 2,500 visitors would be allowed in the premises for the present. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated 9 highway projects worth 14,000 crore rupees in Bihar. He also inaugurated optical fiber internet services through which all the 45,945 of the state will be connected. For the third straight day, India reported less active cases than recovered COVID-19 cases. 93,356 recoveries were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total recoveries to 43,96,339. Recovery rate has gone past 80%. 7,31,534 tests were conducted in the past 24 hours for COVID-19 throughout the country. According to European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, new restrictions imposed by many European countries are required as a second wave of SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus could worsen in winter. Many countries have seen an increase in death rates. Opposition parties in Pakistan have launched an alliance to oust the current regime. A 26-point joint resolution was adopted by the All Parties Conference consisting of Pakistan People's Party, Pakistan Muslim League, Nawaz, and Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam Fazl, and several other parties. They would be starting a movement against the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government. US would go ahead for reimposing sanctions on Iran, going against the UN Security Council resolution. And that is the end of the news snippets.
Destination India. An audio tour of a mesmerizing place of incredible India.
Far from the maddening crowds of metro cities and urban life, there is small hill station which beckons the tourist into the lap of nature, which is what people in North India remember as Kasauli. Yes, Kasauli is a small cantonment hill town at the height of 1,950 meters, located in Solan district in the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. The cantonment was established by the British in 1842 as a colonial hill station, 77 kilometers from Shimla, which is again 65 kilometers from Chandigarh. This small hill town is a health resort in true sense. It is a small hill town full of quaint relics of the British Raj, situated about 1,950 meters above sea level and nestling in the Shivalik hills. Directly below Kasauli is the spread of the vast plains of Punjab and Haryana, which as darkness falls unroll a gorgeous carpet of twinkling lights. Kasauli even today enjoys the status of a cantonment, thanks to this status which keeps this location clean, green and serene. Kasauli has for long been the well-kept secret of few North Indian tourists who regularly visit this paradise in the Shivaliks for rejuvenation and feel jealously possessive of this Himachali beauty. The snow-capped peaks of Chur, Chandini, which powerfully dominates the lower hills around, Shimla is also visible from here. Kasauli is cool throughout the summer, though days can be warm. Winters, of course, are cold. Strolling down quiet country lanes with aged chestnut trees, with not a sound to be heard save for sweet chattering of birds, Kasauli will help you rid your mind and body of its clutter. Indeed, the air of Kasauli is awe-inspiring, making it the first choice of many writers to escape here for writing. Its bracing, crisp air offers comfortable walks to those insistent on some daily routine exercise. The scenic beauty of Kasauli is unparalleled, as one side there is the sprawling range of Aravalis, and on the other there is a deep valley below this town. The buildings and the infrastructures reminds us of the old British opulence and their culture. Some of the hotels there are as old as the town itself, having very high ceilings and a fireplace in every room. The furniture in these legacy hotels also give it the Royal British look. The Kasauli Club, one of the oldest institutions of Kasauli, was founded in 1888. The club was originally meant only for English gentry and a few highly placed Indians. Today, the membership includes the elite of India, which allows people to mingle and share their emotional space. The 4-kilometer hike is Baba Balaknath Temple is an experience in itself. People praying for the blessing of children visit this shrine. Even if you do not have such issues, one can enjoy the splendid vistas from this vintage point. Across forested hills and deep ravines is the sleepy town of Dagshai. On clear day, you can catch the sparkle of the Satluj river in the far distance. If you visit Kasauli once, you are bound to be tempted to revisit this beautiful town. To reach Kasauli, the nearest airport and railway station is Chandigarh. From there, it is a picturesque drive for say 2 hours that will take you to Kasauli. The program was conceptualized and produced by Monica Gulati, with assistance and production from Savita Kheda. The script was by Arvind Kumar and your narrator Albina Michael.
Do tune in to our next edition of Destination India for another exciting journey.
Nobody can bring peace to you, but only you can. Hi everyone, myself Charvi from class 12. Today, we all come together on this date of 21st September to celebrate the International Day of Peace. This year, the theme is Shaping Peace Together. I must say that you, I, and we all strive for peace to build a better tomorrow for us. There are numerous examples in the annals of history and contemporary life wherein people who facilitated wars came to realize that the success lied in peace. One of them was Alfred Nobel, who was engaged in the development of technology for different weapons. His life revolved around rockets, cannons, and gunpowder. But later in life, he came to realize his mistakes and willed a large part of his earning for people who worked for promotion of peace and benefit of mankind. It's established that man's fluctuating thoughts keep the mind in a state of flux. So minded that we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we are at peace in our inner self. Stop for a minute. Think what you want for yourself. Think what you want for your family. Think what you want for the world at large. Once your brain and your heart are at peace, you are ready to make peace in the outer world. For me, peace stands for P for patience. Be patient. It will take time to settle disputes and reach at a consensus, but peace is guaranteed. E for education. Impart positive education that ensures peace for eternity. A for association. To establish peace, we all have to associate and walk on the common road to peace. C for cooperation. We all have to cooperate, listen to each other, and establish peace by mutual understanding. E for environment. We will be successful in building a peaceful environment, and we will be at peace with our environment. Mahatma Gandhi rightly quoted, "Peace will not come out of clashes of arms, but out of justice lived and done by unarmed nations in the face of odds." This year, it has been clearer than ever that we are not each other's enemies. Rather, our common enemies are diseases and disasters that threaten our health, security, and the very way of life. On this day of international peace, I pray for the elimination of the deadly coronavirus and wish for the eternal survival of humanity. Happy International Peace Day. Thank you.
Tanum ta, taratatan tanum ta, tanum ta nantari nantari tanum ta, jhanta jhum tanum ta, jhanta jhum tanum ta, jhannum ta tanum ta, taratatan tanum ta.
जंगल जंगल फिर बात चली।
The story of the pigeons and the birdcatcher.
Deep inside a dark and dense forest, there lived a happy flock of pigeons. They led a life of peace and plenty. The forest had many ponds, and it also had a beautiful clear stream flowing through it. They had plenty of water to drink, and thanks to the wild fruit trees and the insects and worms that crawled on the ground, they had plenty to eat too. So the pigeons flew around the forest, flying from one tree to another under the clear blue skies. Life really couldn't have been better. Often they would descend to the ground when they spotted some prey with a flutter of their wings and feed on the worms or the fallen fruit. One day a pigeon spotted something unusual, something that he or others in his flock had not tasted in a long, long while. Rice grains. Soon he let others know of his tempting and rare find. The last time they had rice grains was when a small flock flew to the edge of the forest where the farmers' rice fields were. And that being the time right after harvest and threshing, they found plenty of rice grains they greedily fed on. They were crunchy and delicious. They must have eaten all they could for a good 15 minutes till the farmer's wife got to know of it and waving a stick ran towards them shouting, "Hut, hut, bug, bug, bug." So when the pigeons spotted the rice grains, their eyes lit up and the pigeons let go a combined call and said to each other, "Let's swoop in, guys, and feast. Now, an old pigeon, the senior most in the group, was watching all this with suspicion. She did not like the look of it. Why would there be rice grains in the middle of a forest? How did the grains get there? Somebody must have deliberately spread it there on the ground to tempt them. Maybe it was for the squirrels, but well, it could be for them as well. Hurriedly fluttering her wings, she let go a call of warning and tried to tell the pigeons that there was something fishy and they shouldn't rush down. It might be a trap. But well, you know, young pigeons are like children. They don't always want to listen. So much as they respected the elderly pigeon, the young pigeons, too tempted by the rice grains, swooped down on them. Ah, what joy as they started pecking away the grains and they cracked under their beaks. They went, busily eating away even as no one noticed the net under their claws. Suddenly, one pigeon realized that her feet were stuck, and even as she tried hard, she could not move them. Her claws were stuck in the net. The next pigeon saw her plight and realized he too couldn't move. The word spread that they had been trapped, and then they panicked. There was a flutter of wings, kind of a sound, and to make matters worse, they saw the bird catcher approaching, laughing aloud. Ha ha ha! Now I'll put you in cages and sell you in the market. Remember the old pigeon? She was watching all this, and she screamed out to them, "Stop tugging at the net individually and trying to free yourself. To the count of 3, all of you spread your wings together and start flying. The net will fly with you too." The bird catcher was just a few feet away when, with a flutter of 100 wings, sound, swoosh, up went the net into the sky, and with it the pigeons. You should have seen the poor bird catcher. "Ah!" he went, screaming at the birds, beating his chest and pulling his hair in frustration. The old pigeon flew ahead of the flock, and soon, on her signal, the pigeons landed at the mouse's house. There the old pigeon explained what happened and asked the mouse to nibble and cut the net. Well, the mouse got to work, and soon the pigeons were free again. The old pigeon now asked them, "Can you tell me what you learned today?" And without waiting for an answer, she said, "We learned that unity is strength. What we cannot think of doing alone, we can do and achieve together. It was your act of unity that saved you today. Remember that. Unity is strength."
Unity is strength. The story of the pigeons and the bird catcher.
Hello everyone, I'm Bandanpreet Mahajan, a communication and life skills coach and a youth skill mentor. Today, I'm here with a video on the theme gratitude. So let me tell you a small story. This story is about two friends, Reena and Preeti. One day, Reena was really upset. On being asked by her friend what was the cause of her being so distressed, she retorted, "Well, what is there to be happy about? The year 2020 has been so distressing and disappointing. We had planned a family vacation starting March 24 and we were supposed to be back by March 28. And then this lockdown happened and our entire plan went haywire. My mom had to get her gallbladder removed through a surgery. I couldn't have a lavish launch of my new venture of training the youth for employability skills the way I had planned. My daughter couldn't celebrate her 18th birthday the way she had wished to do. My son couldn't prepare well for his entrance exam due to a near-fatal accident that he had. To this entire list of grudges and grumbles, the friend who had been listening to Reena so intently till now said, "Reena, would you allow me to rephrase what you just said?" Reena was curious and she said, Yes, please go ahead." So her friend Preeti started to rephrase what Reena had just said. The year 2020 has really been blissful. I am so happy that I am alive. Today I have realized the value of life. Thank God the lockdown was announced before we started off with our holiday. Otherwise, we would have been stuck there probably for weeks, maybe for even months. Gratitude yet again that my mother was able to get rid of her gallbladder through a successful surgery. She had been in so much of pain. It had caused her so much trouble, and now she is relieved. I was just wanting a lavish start for my youth skill building modules, which could have landed me getting a few students from perhaps my vicinity. But then, due to this COVID pandemic, the fact that we all went online, I have been able to enroll students not just pan-India, but pan-globe. My daughter has had the best birthday ever with not just her friends, but with everyone in the family, distant or near, through a virtual party. Thank God, my son survived a near-fatal accident and is recuperating fast. I'm sure he will do wonders with his entrance exam next year. Reena said, "Thanks, Preeti. I never looked at things this way. We never try to view things in the larger picture. I think it's all a matter of perspective. We need to have a grateful heart. Everything falls into place when it comes to God's master plan, a unique one for each one of us. Gratitude is indeed the key. That, supported by positive affirmations and positive visual imagery, can work wonders for you and for me. So, be grateful today and always. Thank you."
Today's commentary is entitled Last Week in Parliament, scripted by Yogesh Sood. The monsoon session of Parliament got underway from September 14th with strict safety protocols in place. The proceedings of both houses are taking place without leave even on Saturdays and Sundays. Each house sits for 4 hours per day, with one session in the morning and another in the afternoon. This would provide for a total of 18 sittings across the monsoon session. 3 major issues that dominated last week included the COVID-19 pandemic, 11 bills to replace ordinances, and the border stand off with China. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed confidence that this session will give a very strong message that both houses are standing behind our brave soldiers guarding the borders in one voice. Prime Minister also struck a cautious note stating that the session was taking place under special circumstances and asserted that the members have chosen the path of duty. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh told the Lok Sabha that India was fully prepared to deal with any situation and that the morale of Indian troops deployed at heights of 15,000 feet remained high. He blamed China for attempting to unilaterally alter the status quo of LAC and said that while India wanted to peacefully resolve the ongoing military confrontation, it was fully prepared to deal with any situation. Defence Minister, making a similar statement in Rajya Sabha on the situation in eastern Ladakh, asserted that no force in the world can stop Indian soldiers from patrolling the country's borders in Ladakh. In the period since the last session, the government has issued 11 ordinances. 5 of these relate to COVID-19 crisis and the lockdown, extending tax filling dates, moratorium on new insolvency cases, protection for health workers and temporary cuts in salaries and allowances of members of parliament and ministries. Of the other, 2 relate to supersession of the boards of the councils that regulate homeopathy and Indian systems of medicine, One allows the Reserve Bank of India to regulate cooperative banks, while 3 others relate to agricultural markets. The bills introduced in Rajya Sabha include the Salaries and Allowances of Ministers Amendment Bill 2020, the Epidemic Disease Amendment Bill 2020, the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2020 and the Indian Medicine Central Council Amendment Bill 2020 have been introduced in the Rajya Sabha through voice vote. All the 4 bills are already in force as ordinances. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan told the Lok Sabha that the nationwide lockdown was a bold decision by the government. It is testimony to the fact that Indians collectively stood up to manage COVID. During the proceedings, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman sought Parliament's nod for additional spending of 2.35 lakh crore rupees, which includes a cash outgo of 1.60 lakh crore rupees, primarily to meet expenses for combating the COVID-19 pandemic. The government also introduced 3 bills on farm sectors, namely Farmers, Produce Trade and Commerce, Promotion and Facilitation Bill, the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill, and the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill, which will replace ordinances promulgated by the government earlier. Union Agricultural Minister Narendra Singh Tomar asserted that these bills will help farmers get a remunerative price for their produce, as well as private investments and technology. Prime Minister Narendra Modi termed the 3 bills passed by both houses as historic. Mr. Modi said that farmers have been given new independence. They will now have more options and opportunities to sell their produce. It was necessary to bring these measures to protect them from middlemen. The Rajya Sabha also approved a bill to suspend insolvency proceedings for up to a maximum of 1 year against fresh COVID-19 related default from March 25th this year. Replying to a debate in the upper house, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the aim of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code (IBC) is to keep companies as going concern rather than liquidating them. The Lok Sabha passed the taxation bill that seeks to provide various reliefs and transparency in tax administration to the taxpayers.